So I have the family all loaded up and we are headed to Nebraska because I need a truck. There's the pickup I was talking about. It is actually a 79 C30. Hopefully it's something very simple on that transmission. Little chunks of metal. There's little chunks of metal all over in here. We're going to pretend that we didn't see that because there's nothing we can do about it anyhow. Let me crawl under real quick and see if it looks like that made it spit any fluid anywhere. Oh yeah, back of the torque converter. So that's what I expected from the get-go. Now I just know that I've got to drop the transmission. Well, I guess it is what it is as far as that goes. This is going to be messy tomorrow. Might as well get started, drop the drive shaft. Well, morning everybody. It's day 2 on for Sagebrush Mechanic. So last night got pretty close to having the transmission dropped out. Just have to do the bell housing bolts and the torque converter. Get the transmission dropped out and I'll replace that front seal and then put it all back together. Then we should be fine to go ahead and work on getting the engine running properly and getting it ready to hit the road for tomorrow morning. Then I will be driving it the 250 miles back home. Rory's excited, as you can tell. So I'm going to pull the transmission the rest of the way out and then I'll get camera fired back up and show you the replacement on that seal. Hopefully that should take care of the rest of it. I was hoping not to have to do it, but it looks like I have to. We'll go from there and then get the engine running and be ready to go. Shall we get it done? Are you gonna help me out today?
Yeah.
Yeah? We'll see how long you last.
I will last every single time.
Oh, I see. Got good news. I've got the transmission pulled out of the truck. I'm hoping that I don't have bad news. When I loosened the torque converter, it felt really loose off the front of the pump there before I had backed the transmission off. So I'm gonna bring the camera down, let you see when I pull this torque converter out, and we're gonna see if it looks like there's some damage that can't be overcome with just replacing a seal. I'm afraid that's going to be the case, but we won't know until we pull the torque converter out. So let's take a look real quick. So let's see what it looks like. You know, we may be all right. So the gears in the torque converter look okay. The pump shaft isn't broken. So this seal is where that fluid is coming past the outside surface of the torque converter here. This is where that seal sits. You can see that little ring where it's been riding on it. This is kind of the pump bushing in there, which is probably fairly worn. You can see some marking there, and from the amount of play in it, it's probably kind of worn. But the splines on the pump shaft and the input shaft look okay. I mean, they're not all torn up. Can't really see the bushing, but that's behind this seal that rides right there on that. But where it engages the pump is a little bit worn, but not too bad. What you can see on the inside of the torque converter looks okay. So it may just be that, yeah, it's getting a little bit worn out. But once I get that seal out, I'll take a good look at the bushing that's behind there and see just how worn it looks. But, you know, if we replace the seal and it doesn't leak and it doesn't make any noise, then we're gonna go ahead and say that things are okay, and we'll give it a whirl. So I'll pull that seal out and we'll see what we're dealing with. So I don't have my really good seal puller. I forgot to grab that and bring it with me. So we're gonna try a couple different options. I gotta be careful not to do any damage to this shaft at all, if I can help it, or the bushing that's right behind there. So first thing I'm gonna try is just regular old pick. See if I can grab it and pull on it enough to get that seal out of there. Let's see what else we've got.
You just gotta collapse one side of it till you can get.
Well, hoping let me driving the rest of this again. Or I was hoping that it would loosen it up just enough.
Finally gave up.
Yeah. Ta-da! That came out really easy. Other than marring up the outside edge a little bit, which doesn't really matter. I think I hurt anything else. Well, although that bushing there is a little bit worn, and I did put one small nick in it from the way that I had to get that seal out, which was not the right way by any means, but it's how I did it with the tools that I had on hand. The bushing looks okay. A little, it's worn, but it's okay. That little nick that I put in there is not going to hurt anything. I did clean it up a little bit, so it'll be all right. So I'm going to go ahead and put the new seal in it and put it back together, and we're gonna try and run it and see what happens. So we're skipping ahead a bit. I replaced the seal in the transmission. I did it the wrong way. Put a new battery in here. I'm gonna pull some gas out of the tank. That's at least 8-year-old gas. And we're gonna see, I'm hoping it's not full of water and that it still kind of smells like gas. And maybe it'll go ahead and burn.
If there's any resistance.
Like you got anything?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, cool.
Still the vapors.
Must still be gas.
Yeah, it's still gas. It's kind of gas.
It's varnish. Should still be flammable.
It's gas-ish.
No, looks fine to me.
I didn't suck any chunks out of the line, surprisingly. So, uh-oh.
What's wrong?
Water leaking. I think it's water leaking.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Looks like it's out of the water pipe somewhere.
It's coming from the front water pump seal. So it may cure. It also
May not. It may get worse.
Fuel to there, inline filter, fuel pump, line disconnected at the carb. So let's fire it up, or crank it over, make sure that that pump's actually pumping fuel.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead, crank on her. Okay, keep going. Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. It's
I want to get it out that tube, so go ahead. Okay. Alright. She pumps pretty good. Go ahead and turn the key off. Now, hopefully, the accelerator pump is not junk.
And that the alternator's charging.
And the idle circuit is not all gunked up. So that it'll actually idle and stuff.
Don't flood it.
That actually all went down the vent tube. Fairly impressed with that.
Yeah, you didn't get it.
Sometimes it would be nice to be a foot or so taller. Nothing yet, but oh. All right, go for it.
I think the old collegial try.
Pump it or just try and start it?
Crank on it, pump it. I don't care. We'll see what
Sounds like I'm
happens.
trying to start it.
Yeah, just see if it'll start and run.
Our floats are stuck. I got my float unsticker out though. Okay, try again. That idling? See, I told you to leave it. First time running, 8 years. Been sitting for 8 years. Fires up and idles. Oh, no power steering. Power steering appears not to work at all. And there are exhaust leaks galore. Oh, missing a dual. So, well, make sure the tires are aired up. I'm gonna have to run it back on that single dual because we don't have another one. And start cleaning it out. Ooh, what's that? Couple keys, they might be important to somebody. Ooh, a dime. Ooh, a penny. We are in the money now. Well, a 10mm socket. That's where that one's been for the last 20 years that I've been looking for it. I'm finding all kinds of pennies. You know the economy's good when I'm sifting through mouse turds for pennies. Things are going well. Hello again, everybody. So I guess technically it's day 3. There was a storm blowing in last night, so I real quick changed the oil. That's about all I've really done to it, other than what you guys have seen with getting everything ready to go. Yeah, I'm going to air up the tires this morning, and I'm sure they're going to be fine for the trip. And then here shortly, I will be loading up and making that 250-mile drive back home. Luckily, it's nice and cool today. It rained last night. It's still pretty muddy. Everything's nice and cool, so that'll help, you know, keep the tires cool because they're pretty old, getting kind of weather checked. I really don't want to have a blowout on this trip, so we're gonna take it nice and easy. I haven't had a chance to test drive it yet. I've got a couple gallons of gas that will hopefully get me to the first service station, which is about 15 miles away. And yeah, we'll fill it up and go from there and see what happens. So yeah, that'll be my first test drive. It's just getting it to a gas station. Otherwise, yeah, everything I think will be fine. I'll see if it fires up this morning and we'll just go. Well, I am hitting the road, just leaving my parents' place. Got plenty of oil pressure. Alternator's charging just fine. There is a lot of belt squealing going on. I tried tightening the belts, but the squeal hasn't gone away. So I'm hopeful after a few miles on the road that quits. Otherwise, belt gets too hot and it comes off. That's the thing that'll really put me in trouble. Between that and just hoping that the tires hold together, because the tires are not in good shape at all. So we'll see how it goes and forge ahead from there. It is raining pretty good today. Not hard, but just coming down constantly, which is good because it will help keep the tires and everything nice and cool. But I don't have wipers at all. I don't dare turn on the heater because as much mouse crappers was in here. I don't feel like breathing that the whole way. So we're just going to go with it, see how it goes. So here we are, pulling onto the highway. The beginning of 250 miles back home. We'll see how she does. Well, I made it to the first little town. She's actually running really, really good. But that belt squeal is not going away. So I think I'm going to have to cut that belt off. And we'll see what that does. So I took a look at my belt and looked everything over. I'm not leaking any oil anywhere. Transmission's holding together. We're running nice and cool. Not overheating at all. I took a look at those belts. Neither one of them is hot like it's sitting there slipping and doing all that squealing. So I'm guessing that squeal is either the power steering pump, water pump, or alternator. So at this point, all I can do is run it and hope that it stays together, whatever it is, and stop and do some frequent checks on it. But yeah, otherwise things are going well. So once I get topped off with gas, we'll just keep moving on and see what happens. So made it about 10 miles past where I put gas in, and it all of a sudden it's running real rough. I'm sure it's something carburetor related since I just put in fresh gas. So get up here to the next town in about 15-20 miles, pull over where I can get out of the rain and see if I can figure out what's going on with it. It's still not quite right, but it's running better. It's just, it's got a loss of power going on, but it's still running. We're still moving. I'm still able to maintain speed, so it may come out of it. I may have to stop and bang on the side of it a little bit more. I don't know. It's definitely a carburetor issue. I'm not surprised after sitting for so long, but man, it was running so good right off the bat. I thought would be all right. I'm just gonna keep driving. I mean, at this point, I think that's really the best plan, is to just ignore it, keep driving, and assume that everything's gonna work out just fine. Just quick update. I'm getting pretty close to the halfway point in my journey here. Running good. Shortly after I checked in that last time, that rough running smoothed out. She's running great. Pulled a few hills just fine. It is raining like crazy. And I don't have wipers on this thing at all. So just kind of working my way through it. 55 miles an hour. Everything's running cool, plenty of oil pressure. So it's doing great. I'm going to have to stop up here in a little bit and in about 12 miles, put some more gas on. I want to make sure I keep the top half full for this trip. And I guess that's about it. I'll just keep going and we'll see what happens. I'm hoping when I stop and gas up that I don't have to fight my way through that rough running patch again. Hopefully it's gotten over that and it'll do just fine. So my fuel issue kind of reemerged again while I was getting gas, but did a little bit on the fly adjusting, and I think we got it out of it again. Hopefully, I mean, I should be able to make it all the way home on that amount of fuel that I just bought. So that's what we're going to hope, and I'm just going to keep driving and hope for the best at this point. Driving through the heaviest rain that I have seen this entire trip. Ooh, I hate those bumps knowing that back tire is not in great shape and that it's all by itself. Every time I hit one of those, I'm just scared of it. Okay, so made it home in, I think it was a little over 5 hours. That's 250 some odd miles. Ran pretty good most of the way. The last 30, 40 miles, it was getting pretty rough, and now it won't sit here. It died while it was sitting here idling. So that carb has given all that it's got to give. But I mean, everything else, everything worked fine. I can't believe we made it all the way without any problems, any major problems anyway. 250 miles in a 43-year-old truck with 99,500 miles on it. Chevy small block, hard to kill. And for this old truck to make it that far, I mean, just replacing a blown out seal and putting fresh gas in it, really. I really did nothing else other than fix the leak on the transmission and put fresh gas in it and a battery. So, yeah, more to come on this old thing. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. Tell somebody about it, because I'm having fun. This is fun for me. So yeah, I'm incredibly happy that I made it back, and I don't have much work to do, and this will honestly be a pretty good driver. And yeah, it's cool to have this old truck up and running again. I'm really happy about it. So yeah, until next time, thank you for tuning in, watching the video. Sagebrush Mechanic. We will talk to you next time.